Welcome to Better. I am Kelly Stewart. Per every single Wednesday, we do our NFL show, but I'm going to bring in the guys. We got a little special treat for you guys, and that is some college bowl games. So Marco, VR, welcome to the show. I'm going to get started with you guys first, and then I'll wrap it up with my best bet for this week in college. Marco, who do you like starting off for the college bowl slate?
Well, Kelly, I'm going to go to Louisville versus Air Force, and I'm looking at this one. And when you're handicapping the bowl games, especially these earlier bowl games, the big question is, does the teams want to be there? And I got a question if a 6-6 Louisville team is really excited to be in this bowl game. One thing you always can be sure of is with a military academy, you're going to get their best effort, no matter what bowl they're in. And I like Air Force in this one. One of the reasons here is Louisville, I just don't see how they stop this option attack. Now, they got the benefit, being that this is a bowl game, that they get extra prep time to work on stopping the option. But if you look at the season numbers, Louisville couldn't stop the run on a regular run attempt. Now they're going to be dealing with a team that runs the ball probably 65 times in this game or more and runs that option attack. This season, Louisville ranked 96th at stopping the run, yards per play. That's not good. I'm going to go ahead in a game where it's, basically pick the winner with this line. And a lot of people will look, Kelly, and say, we got an ACC team playing, a Mountain West team. This looks easy. Just pick the winner. They're going to want to grab the Cardinals here. I'm not doing it. I'm on Air Force. I've got Air Force winning this one. Let's call it Air Force by 7 to 10 points for my college bowl best bet this week.
I am 2 on Air Force with Marco VR. Who is your best bet for this week in college football?
I found a good one, and I think the game's tomorrow. And one of the groups I work with actually came in and bet at 6.5, and I liked it so much. I bet afterwards. I bet at -7 and released it to my subscribers as a 4% best bet, and that's on the Florida Gators -7. And it's one of those teams where Marco nailed it. You got to be able to at least try to determine motivation. Now, it's so hard to quantify motivation even when you determine it, but you still want to know whether the team you're backing at least wants to be there. Now, again, you're not going to know how many points that's worth. That's hard to quantify. But with Florida, the question is, you're an SEC team. Granted, it's Georgia, Alabama, but you're still in the mix every single year. And you're hoping for a New Year's Day bowl. You're hoping to play for something bigger than this. So you would usually look to fade Florida in this spot. Do not make that mistake. Here's why. Because Central Florida is their opponent. And if there's one thing Florida wants to make sure they still have, that is the power to take the best athletes, at least from Florida, on that squad, to get them to go to Florida. For Central Florida to beat Florida, that's so huge for their recruiting. So rest assured, Florida knows this. And this isn't a game they're going to overlook. If it was any other team other than someone like a Central Florida, I would say look to fade Florida here. But because it's Central Florida, because it's almost like little brother and they want recruiting bragging rights, Florida has the talent to shut them down if that's what they choose to do. And here's what I mean. Besides the situation, having support there, I think when you look at the metrics, it even makes my argument stronger. Central Florida may be an 8-4 football team. They've underperformed against the betting market. They're 4-8 ATS. And you're going to say, wait, Florida was even worse ATS and had a worse straight up record. Here's the difference. UCF was a favorite in 10 of their 12 games. They were expected to win 10 of their 12 games. So not only did they underperform straight up, they underperformed ATS. I mean, they underperformed straight up as well. Well, guess what? In the 2 games that they were underdogs, they lost each of those games by more than 3 touchdowns. So they got blown away as soon as they stepped up and played a team that the market at least concluded was better than them. That's what happens to a team like Central Florida when they step up in class. If that team that's higher in class shows up, and I think Florida's going to show up, and 7's just way too low of a number. It seems high, but these bowl games, like championship games, playoff games, tend to snowball because, again, you're throwing the kitchen sink when you fall behind at the other team. So you're going to take some chances, and that leads to more points. And a lot of times that snowball effect, you're down 2 touchdowns. You're next thing you know, you're down 4 touchdowns. I like Florida. I'm not saying they're going to win by 28 points or anything like that. Fortunately, I only laid the 7. But yeah, I like them a lot in this spot. Like I said, the situation backs it up, and I don't see anything in the metrics to make me fear Central Florida. They won't be able to pass the ball against Florida, and that rushing game that looks legit on paper hasn't rushed against this kind of defense, and that's what they're going to find out tomorrow night. Give me Florida.
I hate when I'm head-to-head with VR, and I did not know this, but I'm going to be on Central Florida +7. Look, I initially agreed with everything VR said. I actually looked at this game. I made the Florida Gators 9. I was going to be on the Florida Gators here, especially since they fired head coach Dan Mullen. I said, you know what? This is the right move. Then I found out Emory Jones was going to be playing, not AR-15. And that got me to looking at a little bit more of who else was going to be opting out of this bowl game. Chris Bogle, Zachary Carter, Mo Diabate, Jacob Copeland, and a couple of other leading edge rushers on that defense. That's my issue here. Now, I think Billy Napier is going to do a great job transferring from ULL to being the head coach of this Florida football team, but I think this team has cashed it in for the year. This game is sold out, and I'm going to go ahead and say that it's going to be 50-50 Central Florida, 50-50 Florida Gators. But I can tell you, living in Florida this football season, the Florida Gator fans are pissed. They are not excited about this team. And on the flip side, UCF has gained such traction as far as a fan base goes over the last decade. It's been kind of incredible for this team. Now, Gus Malzahn makes me a little nervous. As VR said, they have not performed well as an underdog. But catching a touchdown here in a game that does mean so much more to Central Florida as that little brother, I do think this up-tempo offense is going to cause problems for Florida's defense. So, again, I hate going head-to-head with VR. That is not a place that I want to be at. But
I swear, Kelly, I didn't even see it. I swear on my life.
I didn't either.
I did not see that was your play. On my daughter, I didn't see it. That this is news to me. That's so funny. Now I don't even feel as confident. But to be honest with you, because I know
kind
you
of
do
feel
your
the same
homework.
way.
No. I know you do your homework. I know you've had success in college football this season, and I know you have a good, strong network as well. So like I said, I know so few people that win long term, and anyone that's profitable, I respect. So knowing you're on the other side doesn't, make me all warm and fuzzy inside with my ticket at -7. I just like to be honest to our followers and supporters out there so they can manage their own risk.
Absolutely. All right, it is week 16 of the NFL season. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about some of those primetime games.
Now you can enjoy the happiness of the holidays for the next 6 months by paying less and making more money by getting 180 days of picks from your favorite handicapper at a huge discount. This limited time Christmas special gives you a 90-day all-access pass with a handicapper of your choice at WagerTalk.com, plus an additional 90 days of all-access passes at no additional cost, an $849 value. This comes out to just under $5 per day, includes all sports released and any 5% best bets, normally priced at $35 each. Your access with your handicapper will cover NFL through the Super Bowl, college football through the national championship, any NBA and NHL action, including playoff games played during access and the start of the MLB season. Plus, if your handicapper does UFC, soccer, tennis, or any sport, yep, it's included. Happy holidays from everyone at WagerTalk.
All right, it's time for some of those prime time games. Marco, I'm going to go to you first. Thursday night, San Francisco 49ers, 3.5-point favorites at Tennessee, total 44.5.
Well, Kelly, I'm going to look at the total in this one. And the reason I'm looking at the total is you've got, I feel, an adjusted total, an overreaction to what's been going on with Tennessee. If you look at Tennessee, the last 4 games, they've scored 13, 13, 20, and 13. So how in the world is this ever going to get over 44 points? Well, I'm going to take advantage of that. And if you look at the teams that they've played, they were playing games that there weren't a lot of points to be scored. So they didn't have to stretch the field. They played a Houston, a New England, Jacksonville, and then last week at Pittsburgh. But the main reason that Tennessee has not been scoring is they've got 13 turnovers in the last 4 games. 13. That's insane. All of those missed opportunities. Now, normally a team would have to, come back and try to answer if they gave up a score, but those turnovers weren't hurting them because they were playing offensively inept teams. Now they're playing a team that can score, which means Tennessee is going to have to answer. And that's going to result in 2 teams changing the complexion of the game. I think this one goes over the total. San Francisco's playing great football right now. This is a team that's making a push to the playoffs. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. They've scored 23 or more in 6 straight games. They've gone 30 points or more in 4 of the 6 games. I think both teams score here. I'm going to go over for Thursday Night Football.
VR, do you agree with Marco in regards to the total? I'm kind of with him here that Tennessee is going to have to step up in class on Thursday night if they want to win this football game.
For sure, 100%, that makes sense. But I don't want to waste the viewers' time because I just don't have a play on this game. And I don't even have a strong opinion, Kelly. Like, we're going to give out 8 picks with the bowl altogether. I had to send in to the producer. That's a lot of picks this early in the week. Now, 3 of them I actually have that I sent out as best bets, and I backed with cash. But this is just one game I have nothing on. I think the line's where it should be. None of the groups I work with have bet the side or the total. The line looks like it's about right. We're not seeing any movement. So there's really no reason for me to even toss out an opinion to our viewers because their opinion probably stronger than mine on the game. So again, my goal is to help you win money, however that is, whether you follow, fade, or ignore. And real quick, thank you again for smashing that like button for us. And please don't get it twisted. It has nothing to do with my ego or our ego. I think I didn't do a good job of explaining that. The reason I beg viewers to smash that like button, to comment, to share, is because that's how the Twitter, the Instagram, the YouTube algorithms work. If people engage, then they see that the material's valuable, the content's valuable, and they're going to push it towards viewers that are looking for that kind of content up front. And my goal has always been to educate bettors so that for selfish reasons, let me just tell it how it is. I want to be able to bet forever. And if people aren't educated, the books could quickly make this 6-5, and none of us will be able to turn profit again. And people say, "Oh, how would they do that?" They did it overnight in blackjack, where they made hitting blackjack from 3 to 2 to 6 to 5. That edge wiped out every card counter pretty much on the planet in those games. They can't play them anymore. And why? The community wasn't big enough or educated enough to make noise and stop them from doing that. So again, maybe it's for selfish reasons or whatever, but that's why I try to say, please show us that support. And it's not for my ego to get likes. It's to push the content out so other people, bettors, get educated who are new into the space, because there's just so much bad betting content out there. That's just the bottom line. And I know ours is really good because I know who I'm with on this panel with, and I know what they have done lifetime. And I'm confident saying that. So again, not to go long, I don't have anything for this game. Thank you for smashing the like and engaging with us. Please continue to do so and help us grow. And we want to keep giving you more and more content the more you help us grow. That's just how it works.
Like VR said, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us every single Wednesday, and of course on the Monday edition of Bet On It as well. Let's go to Sunday Night Football. We have the Indianapolis Colts and the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals look-ahead line was 4.5. They lose to the Detroit Lions. Indianapolis gets a nice win on last Saturday night. Lines out pretty much a pick 'em across the board. There is a rogue 1 at a couple spots there in Las Vegas. Total 49. Marco, I wanted to tease the Colts when this line first came out, and I didn't even have the ability to. That 1.5 was gone very quickly.
Yeah, Kelly, and you know what? This is an overreaction. I mean, Indianapolis is playing well. There's no question about this. But as you said, what the look ahead line was, you're going to adjust this much without injuries just because of one game. I'm going to go back and look at Arizona. And yeah, that was a horrible game last week against Detroit. But how many times have you heard us talk about a team losing the same game twice? I think Arizona lost that Monday Night Football game 2 weeks ago to the Rams. And that was a game that I was very high on the Rams in that game. It was a big game for those two teams. The Rams got it done. I think Arizona just felt they had to show up in Detroit. I mean, after all, the week before, Detroit got drilled at Denver and just show up and they're going to get a win. Well, that didn't happen. Now they're back home and they're playing a team, Indianapolis, that's winning. But man, you want to talk about winning a game ugly last week? Jonathan Taylor had a monster game, no question about that. But Carson Wentz, where was he? He was a non-factor in that game. I think he was 5 of 12 passing for like 50-some yards. That's not going to win you games. Kyler Murray will bounce back this week with a big game. I just think that this is too much of an adjustment. And what I'm actually hoping for, Kelly, is the market takes it to Indianapolis being the favorite. Because I will agree, wherever it settles as the favorite, this looks like a great teaser. But if Indianapolis becomes a road favorite, I won't be able to get enough of Arizona. I like Arizona as it is now. And if they become a dog, I'll have Arizona in the game, and I'll have Arizona on a teaser. I like Arizona 31-27 in this one.
I'm with Marco here. Arizona looks to be the right side in an overreaction spot. VR, can you make it 3 in a row?
Yeah, I lean to the Arizona side. I haven't bet it. I did see some sharp guys that I do respect that did take the Indianapolis side. That's why you have seen it come down, and the teaser's not even really available now because they did tease it also. I think I could see the value on the Colts in the teaser, but not getting less than a field goal. I just don't see it. And here's why. Real quickly, Arizona is just too good on the offensive side of the ball. And the Colts just aren't good enough defensively. I mean, right now, they go into this game 20th against the rush in success rate, 25th against the pass in success rate. Against an Arizona team at home coming in off a loss, I don't know if you could keep up against the number 4 pass and offense in success rate. So for me, I don't know why they bet it. So that's why I haven't touched the game, because again, I disagree and I like Arizona. I'm on it with you guys. I don't agree with the move. Let's put it that way.
All right, the Sunday night game, we have the Washington football team at the Dallas Cowboys. And normally I'd be looking to get involved with the dog here, but I don't know how high this line is going to get before I'm able to do so. Dallas opened a 9-point favorite. We're starting to see 11s pop up on the board, total 47. Pretty much across the board, there is a rogue 46.5 and a rogue 47.5 on the WagerTalk odds screen. Marco, I'm going to go to you first. This is a spot where I can't bet the Washington football team. Not right now. While they did look okay for the first half last night versus the Eagles, that's about all I can say positive about this team. Obviously, injuries, COVID, things are not really going great for them right now.
No, Kelly, the knee-jerk reaction is going to be people are going to go back to 2 weeks ago when these two met in Washington. And, if you had Washington in that game, that was a tough luck loss for you. You had 4 turnovers in that game, yet you still only lost by 7. Unfortunately, you were getting less than 7 on the point spread. That was tough. Now they're going to look and say, you know what? They're going to remember last Sunday night's game and saw that the big favorite in Tampa Bay had trouble, and they're going to remember that. And that's also going to gravitate to them taking Washington. People like the Washington football team. They've played well at times this year, but lately the offense, I'm a little bit concerned. In Dallas, they got the job done. It wasn't pretty last week against the Giants, but they did what they had to do. And if you look quietly, the Dallas Cowboys are actually starting to play good defense. That's scary. I don't think I would have ever lived long enough to say Dallas playing good defense, but they are. I like the Cowboys in this one. I think they're gelling at the right time. This is their team. I'm not a fan of Mike McCarthy. No, I'm not going to make no questions about that, but I think they can get the job done. They're healthy on offense. Finally, they got all their hands on deck. I think this turns into a rout Sunday night. I've got Dallas. I'm going to lay the points. I got them winning 28-14.
Well, this looks like one of those spots where I may be on the under, as Ralph always likes to say, those double-digit favorites to the under. So I have this one circled to keep an eye on the total. VR, this is a Dallas team, like Marco said, that is playing better defense, all due to Dan Quinn. I thought it was going to take some time for him to be there to get this defense working, but I feel like for the first year, he's done a really good job. I can see where Marco thinks it's Dallas or pass. Can I get you to bite on the dog, maybe on the total?
No, absolutely not. It's save your money. It's bet Dallas and under or leave the game alone. And here's why. Hopefully, if you did agree with me on the Washington side, you bet it late and got a push. I didn't. I lost that bet on Monday Night Football, taking a bad number. I knew it was a bad bet as soon as I had a worse ticket in my pocket than the market closed. Again, you got to be honest with yourself and grade your ticket after the game, whether you won or lost, honestly, whether you got lucky, whether you beat the market, whether your team actually won the game. Because you want to keep repeating those the correct moves and go after that and avoid the luck. And here's what stuck out to me and why I like Washington, because I said, if you're ever going to bet Washington with this quarterback in this spot, Garrett Gilbert, who had only 44 passes in his NFL career and is a 6th-round pick, if you're ever going to bet him, you want to do it against the Eagles, who were the 31st in success rate defensively against the pass. Well, this week, he's going up against Dallas. Guess where Dallas sits in success rate against the pass? Number 1, no team better than the Dallas Cowboys. That's correct. In fact, they hold teams to only 40% success rate passing. Houston has a 40% success rate overall. So that tells you how good, keeping teams down to the Houston levels, what Dallas is doing defensively. That's pretty damn good. And that's why I just can't look at the Washington team. Because again, the points do become the great equalizer, but you also have to be able to see a path to victory. How are you going to get there to cash that ticket? And for Washington to cover this game, they're going to have to put up some kind of points, or else. That's why I like the under. Also, I just don't think Washington's going to be able to put up many points. And I just think it's going to end up being a Dallas blowout where they just keep running and feeding and killing clock the whole second half because they're going to win by 3 touchdowns. It just has blowout written all over it. For me, it's Dallas or leave the game alone. I haven't bet it. Probably won't get involved. There's much better games on Sunday than that one, especially with all the bowls going on and college buckets and all that. I can't bite on the dog, Kel.
All right, well, we are going to bite on the under. I just locked in under 47. Speaking of Ralph Michaels, he's up next after this quick commercial break.
We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not the premier sports betting information provider in North America. From a massive library of free picks and handicapping videos, daily shows, podcasts, and articles, our free live odds service, a team of the nation's finest sports handicappers supported with top-rated customer service, we pride ourselves on being the leaders in our industry, always looking to evolve and stay multiple steps ahead of our competitors. With that being said, we truly do want to let you know we appreciate your patronage. Moving forward, 7-day all-access packages will be reduced from $119 to just $99, and our 30-day all-access packages are also being slashed moving forward, going from $349 to under $10 a day at only $299. Our new pricing is already active and available just by going to your favorite handicapper's homepage right now.
Welcome back to Bet On It. It is now time for the guy crushing the college bowl season. That's right, Mr. Ralph Michaels, the stat daddy himself at Cal Sports LV. Welcome in, Ralph.
Hey, Kel. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone. 18-2-1 run overall. So when you can get to that 90% range for the last 2.5 weeks, it's exciting. You know, I had my worst college football season ever this year, so it's nice to turn it around. I do want to mention 2 quick things, Kel, before we start. Number 1, if you want to get my bowls, 5-1 bowls this year, use the code BOWL50, BOWL50, get $50, all the remaining bowls. There'll be at least 2 5% normally that sell for $35. You'll get the rest of the bowls for $99. But more importantly, this affects every single person that goes to WagerTalk or Sports Memo. When you log in, right on the front page, you're going to see a special. Get $100 in wager bucks for $49. Many of you don't know what wager bucks are. Basically, they are dollar for dollar. Use them for $2 Tuesdays. Use them for $9 packages on Mondays. Use them for a $35 5% play, a week, a season, or a full year. Every person who goes to WagerTalk or Sports Memo should be taking advantage. It is limited to one per customer, but log in, use, there's no code. There is a code on there, it is on the sheet, but you'll get $100 of wager bucks for $49, and the wager bucks never expire. Make sure you take advantage.
Great stuff, Ralph. And of course, Ralph is crushing his college bowl. So, he brought us some TNA to wrap up some things here for bowl season.
Two quick things I wanted to mention. Make sure you do tune into last week because there is some good bowl information on there. Totals right now are 9-2 to the over. That happens very often in these early games with the lesser conferences. We're not going to see those keep up. And in the last 4 years, in fact, there have been more unders than overs for the whole bowl. But I just wanted to touch on those absolute lowest totals and those absolute highest totals. There's only a handful of bowl totals of 44 or less. Iowa State, Clemson, Kentucky, Iowa, Arizona State, Wisconsin. It doesn't happen very often. But since 2015, there have been 17 bowls with a total of 44 or less, 7 overs, 10 unders, 58%. So those lowest bowl numbers have gone under. Have the highest bowl totals gone over? Well, yes, they have. For bowl totals of 70 or higher since 2011, there have been 28 of them. This year, we have Virginia and SMU currently at 71.5. Those bowl totals, 19 overs, 9 unders, so 67.8% to the over. So the lowest bowl totals have tended to go under, and those absolute highest bowl totals have gone over the total.
No surprise there, Ralph. Those low totals are low for a reason, and those high ones are high for a reason. Now on to this week in the NFL.
Well, okay, I want to be Mr. Obvious. The healthier you are as an NFL team, the better you're going to be. Now, it sounds crazy, but with this COVID season, we're seeing some big swings. So I did a chart. We're not going to break it down incredibly in depth, but I want to mention a couple points, and I will post it on my Twitter at CalSportsLV so you can get some details. The chart is listed to the right by rank and by players. This is how many players a team has played this year. Look at the Buffalo Bills. They have played 61 players this season. Look at the bottom of the chart. The Tennessee Titans have played 87 players. So let's put that in perspective. You have 11 on offense, 11 on defense. So you have 22 players in your first string. Well, that means you played your first string. It means you played your second string. And it means you played some of your third string. Tennessee has 87 players. That is almost the entire first string, entire second string, entire third string, and entire fourth string. It makes a huge difference. If you look at the chart, bottom 11 teams that have played the most players and have been the unhealthiest, only 2 of them have winning ATS records. And if you look at the top 17 teams, only 3 of them have losing ATS records. So again, I am being Mr. Obvious, but please do take note of these COVID situations and the health of each teams as we finish off this regular NFL season.
Yeah, that is always something to note, Ralph. But I do have some of my concerns if there may be an overreaction to the line. So that's what I'm kind of looking for in terms of these injuries, right? What's the backup drop off to the starter? We saw a Washington football team last night. Now, while they didn't get the win because our producer Dan was there, they did look really great in that first half with a basically quarterback that had only been there for a couple of days. So something to consider there as well.
look at the quarterbacks, Cal. I mean, when you lose two quarterbacks, there's no way I can play on the team. Look at the Browns. Look at Washington. Washington scored because of a couple defensive touchdowns. There's teams where if one quarterback is hurt, the Browns, for example, if Baker is hurt, I have no problems playing the second string because it's a quarterback that knew the Stefanski system from Minnesota and he's well engaged. So it is important to know who your second string is, how long have they been on the team, how long they know the offense. But if a team is missing quarterbacks 1 and 2, it's either a fade or a no play for me. That's an automatic.
Absolutely. All right, what else do you have for week 15 of the NFL?
I've got 5 or 6 quick hitters, Kel, and, let's start off with number 1. I've tweeted it every time it's happened. You've retweeted it every time it's happened. It's hit 79% of the time. And when we have a division away favorite of 8 or more, the over-under, now 10 overs, 34 unders, and 1 push. That is basically a 78% play against this week. Tampa Bay and Carolina under the total. Last week, it was Dallas and the New York Giants. So again, when we have a system that easy, but it makes that much sense to me, and the record proves that it's been that successful, it's worth repeating every time that situation occurs. And I have one, Cal, and I want to get your comment on this before I finish the last 3 or 4 quick hitters. What do you think happens when a team like the New Orleans Saints win a game but score 10 or fewer points? Going back all the way to 1999, it's happened 85 times. Those teams like New Orleans that score 10 points or less and win the game have gone 53, 31, and 3, 63.1%. And I will note, one of the books here in Vegas gave out 200 to 1 odds that there will not be a touchdown. There were 4 people that bet it. But again, the max anyone won on that was $1,000. So they bet $5 at 200 to 1 to win 1,000 that no one would score a TD in that New Orleans Tampa Bay game. But are you surprised by that situation of scoring 10 or less and winning that you do cover 63% of the time in the next game?
Yeah, that is actually a surprise. I was texting with my friends group, and we have a couple of Saints fans in there, and I literally said, all right, which one of you guys are betting the Dolphins this week? Because the Saints just won on prime time, and both of them agreed that it looked kind of like a trappy game to lay 3 with the Saints here. I can't wait until the next commercial break so I can send them your stat of the week, because that is probably the most shocking. I would have guessed it'd been the other way around, 31 and 53, not 53 and 31.
How about I start off the last few with another quick hitter that says take New Orleans over Miami. When a team was outgained and won as a dog, and they are now a favorite. So Cincinnati got outgained against Denver, 249 to 292. They won as a dog, and now they're a favorite against Baltimore. New Orleans got outgained 212 to 302. They are now a favorite. They were a dog. Those teams in those situations, 48, 28, and 2, 63%. So it says to play on Cincinnati versus Baltimore and another New Orleans system against Miami. 3 more quick hitters. We've mentioned this numerous times, but again, it's one that makes so much sense to me. A team off a straight up and ATS win against a team off a straight up and ATS loss, and the lines between the threes. So basically a pick'em game with a hot team against the cold team. That has gone 51 and 34, 60% the last 87 plays. That says to take Indy versus Arizona and Buffalo at New England. And one that we mentioned last week that I'm going to mention again because it makes so much sense to me and sometimes people overreact. A team that won a game as a dog of 6 or more, and now they're a dog of 6 or more again. Remember, we mentioned this with Detroit and Denver on December the 12th. Denver won that game 38 to 10. When a team like Houston is off an upset win of 6 or more, and they're getting 6 or more this week, They have 17 ATS wins, 47 ATS losses, and 1 push. That's a percentage of 26.6%, or a 73.4% fade play on Houston this week.
Awesome stuff, as always, from Ralph. Like he mentioned, head over to WagerTalk.com. Take advantage of our Wager Bucks promo listed on the main page. Also, while you're over there, check out Ralph's page. He's got all the nerd charts waiting for you guys. And don't forget, follow him on Twitter at CalSportsLV. And we're back. It's time for the teasers of the week. I already teased the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills, if you saw on Twitter. But let's bring in Marco and VR and see who they've got for this week. Marco, you are up first, my friend. I'm going to let you have it away. There's a few teaser spots left on the board, but most of them are long gone.
Yeah, Kelly, and you know what? I'm on the same teaser as you. And, this one is so perfect that it almost scares me. And the two are absolutely identical. I mean, when we talk about, teasers, we're talking about numbers, okay? And we want to get through the key numbers. Well, both of these games have those key numbers we're going through. They're both in games that have low totals. That's what we want. But there are two other elements to these games that teasing Baltimore and teasing Buffalo have in common. This is the season, as far as the division goes, for both of these teams, because both teams already lost on their home field to their opponent. Cincinnati crushed Baltimore in Baltimore. And we all know Buffalo and New England a couple weeks ago, that Monday night game, basically played in hurricane conditions. New England stole that game, and they won that game really on one play. And that's when Bill Belichick elected to go for the 2-point conversion after the first touchdown. And that just set the numbers where Buffalo was playing from behind and couldn't kick field goals on certain spots when they should have. I'm going to take both of these, take the road dogs, tease them through the 7, and look for both games to go right down to the wire. And I actually like both road dogs in these spots. So getting the extra 6 points, I have no qualms with at all. Take Buffalo, take Baltimore. And really, if you look at Baltimore, you look at their record this year, and you realize that this is a team that lost 2 games electing to go for 2-point conversions, where they could have just kicked the extra point and went to overtime. This is a team that could have a much better record than they have right now. And then they had a couple other narrow losses. I'm going to go ahead and take these two on the teaser. It almost looks too perfect.
It sure does, Marco. I feel like this is just going to be everybody's teaser this week. The only other option that was really left, looking at the WagerTalk odds screen, is Green Bay, now that they are sitting at 7.5. VR, are you on the same teaser as us this week, or are you going to add someone else?
No, and that's it. Again, Kel, the books know that when there's long teasers on the board, sharp bettors, not just betting syndicates and wise guys, but sharp bettors, whether they're betting $100 or $500, there's a lot of sharp bettors out there that are going to pick off those long teasers knowing there's an edge. So they're not going to be up on the board very long. Books adjusted the VIG as much as they could. Now, they can't go too crazy, but they did it enough to dissuade most betting syndicates. But most sharp bettors are still willing to take a smaller edge and bet them. But the reason they allow them still is because they get so much recreational bettors teasing bad teasers, putting in such negative EV teasers. So yeah, I got to go with the only one that's pretty much on the board right now, and that's Baltimore and Buffalo. But here's the disclaimer. I haven't bet it. I'm not going to bet it. I'm not releasing it. Honestly, I'm pretty done with teasers unless there's a bunch in the next week or so. This season has been good with the long teaser, what's been allocated towards that. So I kind of backed out now, not chasing those. But yeah, it's Baltimore and Buffalo because there's nothing else. And again, I'll keep saying it like a broken record till it sinks in. There's no other reason to tease. Only NFL sides, only when you're going through 3 and 7 both, and only if you're getting 130 or less, preferably 120 or better, but again, nothing more than 130. So there you go. Stick to that. You'll do okay. Or otherwise, just don't tease, don't parlay, don't buy points. Just lay 11 to win 10, and you'll lose a lot less, and you'll win a lot more if you're profitable, at least.
That is the goal. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, maybe the deli's open. You know, VR's got that Steam game for us. And of course, we've got some barking dogs.
WagerTalk continues to be an innovator in this industry, and our WagerBucks program is just one example. Because it's the holidays and we're feeling festive, we're giving you $100 worth of WagerBucks for only $49 using promo code WB49 at checkout. So how do they work? It's simple. You buy credits in bulk at a discounted rate and then apply them dollar for dollar towards your purchase. Use your purchase WagerBucks on $2 Tuesday, $9 packages on Monday. Buy your favorite 5% plays with or without the guarantee. Grab a 7-day all-access pass or even a 12-month package. That's right, purchase WagerBucks can be used on everything with no restrictions at both WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. Due to the incredible savings, this special offer is limited to one per customer. From all of us here at WagerTalk, Sports Memo, and the Gold Sheet, we wish you a wonderful holiday season and a prosperous new year.
Welcome back to Bet On It. Marco, I was going to introduce it. I was going to tease everybody. We all know after last week's sandwich, the deli got condemned. So, of course, we've got a little trap game for our viewers this week.
Yeah, Kelly, that was a tough one to swallow with Carolina last week. We should have got that sandwich, but we're going to go for a trap game this week. And you know what? If you look at the schedule and you look at the lines and somebody said, you got to just pick a winner, just pick one winner. Who in the world is going to want to play Jacksonville on the road to actually win a game outright? Ain't going to happen. And you look at this line, you look at this number, and they are begging you to take the Jets. Now, last week, Jacksonville, they came up flat against Houston. A lot of people thought they had a chance to beat them. The firing of Urban Meyer, I think it was just too much during the course of the week. I think now, getting away from Jacksonville, getting away from the press, this will be where you'll see a spirited effort from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, you know, who are the Jets to lay points to anybody? Granted, they're only laying 1 point, but still, this Jets team has done nothing this year. Don't be fooled by last week's close score against Miami. Miami turned it over 3 times in that game, including a pick 6 that made the score close. I like Jacksonville. This is the first week where they've had a full week with the interim head coach. They'll have some different looks this week. They can catch the Jets by surprise. I'm going to go ahead, give them a shot. I know you might have to hold your nose going to the window, but remember what I always say. Some of the best bets are the hardest ones to go to the window and say. And believe me, betting Jacksonville +1, that's tough to say, but I'm there. That's my trap game. Take Jacksonville.
Marco, I think the market agrees with you. We're starting to see pick'ems up on the WagerTalk odds screen. Still plenty of +1s and even a couple of +2.5s. VR, I'm going to kick it back to you. I think you might have already alluded to the Steam game of the week on Monday, but let's reiterate it again for our viewers.
No. I switched it up to give them some more, and so they can manage risk correctly. For my Steam play this week, I'm going with a 4% best bet that I sent out to subscribers on Atlanta -5. It's now -6. Go ahead and bet it. Just don't lay more than 7. Listen, they're the right side. Again, Atlanta's not a team I'm comfortable laying touchdowns with in many spots, but it's warranted here, and this is why. Usually I would say the injured player theory, I'm going to look to take advantage of the value after the market overreacts, because at least here's what we know. Goff's not playing. It's going to be Tim Boyle at quarterback, correct? That's what it says. Looking at Tim Boyle, last time he played, they what did they do? Did they beat Cleveland, right? Or played them well enough to cover, lost by only a field goal. But if you dig into the box score, here's what you're going to find. QBR for Tim Boyle, 7.2. Passing yards in that game, 77. Touchdowns, 0. Interceptions, dose. So he did nothing to win his team the football game. In fact, he did everything to help them lose that football game. And that's why they ended up losing by 3 instead of winning the game that they should have actually won. This is just a bad spot for them because they're going to need to run the football successfully. Unfortunately for them, they're going against a Jacksonville defense where their strength is against the rush. They're 12th in rushing success rate defensively. You know, it's a top 15 defense against the rush. It's not going to be easy for Detroit to do much. And if you're going to leave it in Tim Boyle's hands to get me the cover, I just can't get there, man. So for me, like I say, I'm not always comfortable laying points with a bad team. And that's what Atlanta is. Let's tell it like it is. You're 6-8. You're below mediocre in the NFL. And it's usually a team I'd rather be getting points with. But this is a spot where it is warranted. You're seeing the move when it was lower has moved up. That's why it is the steam play. It did get hit by 2 of the groups I work with at -4.5 and -5. So, yeah, there's this week's steam play. Go Atlanta, blow out Detroit.
I'm here for it and a little bit of overreaction to last week. Marco, I'm going to kick it to you now for, of course, my favorite segment, and that is those barking dogs.
Well, Kelly, I'm going to go with a barking dog here that might look a little bit ugly, but this is a game that, for me, it's more about going against the opponent. And I'm talking about the Seattle Seahawks. You've got Seattle that had their game moved to Tuesday. That's a huge disadvantage. We saw it last year when teams, we managed to get to this point in the season before we had to move a game. But if you remember last year, my Steelers were 11-0 until they had that game moved all around. And then, they weren't the same team after that. Seattle, they lost last night on a very, very horrid call. I'm glad I had the Rams. I'll take it. But that was one of the worst missed calls I've seen on pass interference last night that would have set Seattle up in Rams territory. Instead, they turned the ball over on downs in their own territory, and the Rams were able to get the field goal that put the game away at the end. This is a Seattle team. We've talked about it a couple times this year. They're always in the playoff hunt. They're no longer in the playoff hunt. And I said that when you get teams that are in the playoff hunt every year, once they're out of it, there's only a couple games that they're going to show up for. It's either going to be a standalone game, like yesterday playing on TV against the Rams, a division game where they can play spoiler, which they tried. But against Chicago, where does the motivation come from this team? I can't lay points with them in this one. Now, I know Chicago's been bad, but they're dropping down in class. Look what Chicago's played in the last 3 weeks. They played an Arizona team, a Green Bay team, and a Minnesota team. Now, granted, Minnesota's only a 500 team, but if you look at Minnesota's losses, and we'll talk about them in a little bit later in the show, this is a team that's been in every single game this year. I like Chicago here. I think they take this right to the wire. And I actually have them pulling this off 23-20. And I got to point out, those 3 losses that they had to Arizona, Green Bay, and Minnesota, they were on the short end of a 10-1 turnover margin. That's not going to happen here against Seattle. I'm going to go ahead and take Chicago as my barking dog.
Oh, barking they are, down to 6.5 from 7 just a little bit earlier today. I also lean the Bears, but boy, is that one ugly. I'm just glad I get to cash that Seattle not to make the playoffs ticket there, Marco. VR, who is your barking dog for week 16 in the NFL?
It's a baby dog, but again, I want to share a bet that I'll probably get to the window with because I haven't bet a dog yet for this week in the NFL. I haven't released yet, any best bet or even a regular play. But this is a strong opinion that I probably will get to the window with, and I'd rather share that. It's Jacksonville, and everything that Marco touched on is 100% on point. And the Jets are going to have a lot more problems this week than they did last week. I'm going to tell you, Jacksonville's at least better than they've looked of late, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Like, they're going to have some success running the football against the New York Jets. And I think once they're able to do that, they're going to be able to pass the ball as well. And you look at the Jets, they're 29th against the pass in defensive success rate. Look for Jacksonville to be able to finally have some success throwing the football. And again, they've already shown their top 15 rushing team, at least success rate. They're right there, mid in the NFL. So that's not bad considering they've only won 2 games all season, excuse me. So yeah, I think this is a very winnable game for them. I think you're seeing some steam come in on Jacksonville. I think the bookmakers more or less just factored in the Jets looking like they did last week, coupled with their home weather, New York, compare Florida team going up there. I think all that baked into the cake. I like Jacksonville. Not a big dog, it's a baby dog, but the only dog right now I have a strong opinion on, but not a bet yet.
I'm with you. Marco said it best. Who are the Jets to be favorites here in this situation? I get it. Jacksonville just lost to the Texans. Let's not overreact here, everybody. I will be joining you guys on the Jags +1. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it is time for Best Bets.
Sign up for the free WagerTalk text club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
Welcome back to Bet On. It is now time for Best Bets, and per usual, I'm going to go first here. Now, this is a game that we already talked on just a little bit in regards to teasers, and if you guys know, I love step in front of those big name teams, just like I did last Sunday with the Bucks, the week before that with the Dallas Cowboys. And that's because I think that there's a little bit of value in some of these dogs, especially dogs like Buffalo and they're now playing New England. They just played a couple weeks ago in that lovely blizzard. And as Marco alluded to, Bill Belichick, what did he do? He went for 2 right out of the gate, and Buffalo just did not get anything going offensively. Josh Allen threw for a season low 145 yards. That was so atrocious. I do think that Stephon Diggs is going to be able to step up against New England this time. I do believe Josh Allen's going to have a much better game. This is something we saw from New England the other night. And as Marco said, that really wasn't not a great performance by the Colts, right? If you look at it, New England absolutely should have covered that teaser. They did not because they got ran all over. Buffalo is going to have to utilize their ground game here if they want to be able to take advantage of this defense. And that defense looked pretty lackluster the last time we saw them. I'm hoping for another lackluster performance by the Patriots and Bill Belichick. Buffalo's got to step up here. I love them in a teaser, +2.5. And of course, on the money line. Marco, you are up next. Who is your best bet for this week?
Well, Kelly, I looked at the Minnesota Rams game, and to be honest with you, at first I was going to use this as my trap game because it kind of fits the same scenario. Let's take a look at it. We've got the Rams laying 3. Just pick the winner. The Rams, all of a sudden, 3 wins in a row and covers. They're back in everybody's good graces. People love to bet on teams that get them the money, and the Rams have done that 3 straight weeks. But can you really get that excited with 2 of the wins being against Jacksonville and Seattle? Now they're going to face a Minnesota team. And this team's been like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde all year. Coach Zimmer, one thing he does is he keeps his teams competitive. This is a team that's sitting at 500. But if you look at their losses, they're 7-7. 5 of the 7 losses have been by 4 points or less. All 7 of the losses have been by 1 score, meaning 7 or 8 points. This is a team that doesn't get blown out. And I'm looking at a Rams team that last night against Seattle, who was offensively challenged, they couldn't put that team away. Now, granted, it was a screwed up week. They had their game moved to Tuesday. But now you got to go from playing on Tuesday to playing on Sunday on the road against a team that you don't usually play. That makes it tougher for prep. That's another advantage for Minnesota here. I like Minnesota as the home dog. And how many people are going to look in their mind, because you always hear me talk about, lines whenever it's between the threes. When you see a spread of -3, mentally most people go, oh, that's just pick the winner. It's a field goal. Pick the winner. Well, if you put 100 people in a room and say, pick the winner between the Rams and Minnesota, trust me, more people are going to pick the Rams. I'm not going that route. And here's a little stat on the Rams the last 2 seasons. When they're coming off 2 or more wins the last 2 seasons, they're just 2-9 against the spread. I'm going to go ahead and take Minnesota. We're going to call for the upset. This should be a shootout. I like the total as well here. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I like it. Minnesota 34-31. That's my best bet for this week.
I'm with you, Marco. Vikings was the very first game I wrote down and had circled. I didn't have the guts to make my best bet. Coach Zimmermeyer on the rocks again. You know how that goes. Anyhow, VR, your best bet. What people have been waiting for. Who do you got?
All right. And now making it a best bet, it's actually the play I gave out because the line's available at 45, and it is a best bet over in Cincinnati, Baltimore. And the more I dug into this game, Kelly, the more I liked it. Because in the past, I would have looked at it and said, dude, this line's telling me this is a dead under. Like they put up 58 points the first time they met, and you're giving me a lower total than the first time around. Oh, the books know something we don't. This is a dead under. No. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is simply a case of some recency bias because you're looking at one team coming off a horrific offensive performance in Cincinnati where they only put up 15 points, but that was against Denver. And I don't know if you've looked, but Denver's got one of the best pass defenses and pretty much defenses in all of football. They're like top 10 or 7 in success rate against the pass. So I think that's a little skewed. I look for Cincinnati to have a lot more success throwing against Baltimore, kind of like they did in that first game. If you look at the box score, they had no problems putting up points. And we know the problems Baltimore is having with COVID, with health concerns in that secondary. So I just don't think it's going to get much better for them. On the flip side, I look for Baltimore to be able to put up points against Cincinnati defense that's below mediocre. And after getting blown out last time against them, I just think it's an even more motivated team to show up. And they're coming in off 3 straight losses. You can't afford not to show up. This is a big divisional game. And that's why also I think that perception of it's like a playoff atmosphere, that dead under. Nah, I think you're going to see a ton of scoring in this game. And I think this total is way off. Again, I could be way off myself, but I'm just shocked there's still 45s available because I just think this is a game that's an automatic over, at least on paper.
Yeah, VR, I'm with you. I see this game being like a 28-27 type game, which is right there on the money. No, it's not, Kelly. That would be 55. So that is 10 over the total. Don't mind my bad math. I'm ready for another coffee before we come back for the recap.
WagerTalk continues to be an innovator in this industry, and our WagerBucks program is just one example. Because it's the holidays and we're feeling festive, we're giving you $100 worth of WagerBucks for only $49 using promo code WB49 at checkout. So how do they work? It's simple. You buy credits in bulk at a discounted rate and then apply them dollar for dollar towards your purchase. Use your purchase WagerBucks on $2 Tuesday, $9 packages on Monday. Buy your favorite 5% plays with or without the guarantee. Grab a 7-day all-access pass or even a 12-month package. That's right, purchase WagerBucks can be used on everything with no restrictions at both WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. Due to the incredible savings, this special offer is limited to one per customer. From all of us here at WagerTalk Sports Memo and the Gold Sheet, we wish you a wonderful holiday season and a prosperous new year.
It is Christmas week, and while there is no Marco clause, I'm going to wrap this one up for you, put it underneath the tree, and hope you guys cash some of these best bets. But unfortunately, VR and I are head-to-head on the Gasparilla Bowl tomorrow night. I like the dog, UCF +7. He's on Florida, -7. But we both do agree the Air Force looks like the right side for Marco's best bet. Primetime games, VR says Indianapolis, got a little bit of steam play, down from 1.5 to a pick 'em. Guys, put them in teasers and bet them. Marco says at this point in time, he leans Arizona in an overreaction to that Detroit loss. Dallas for everybody, basically, or pass. I will be on that under. Oops, I forgot the Thursday night game. VR said he had no opinion on. Marco likes the
real
over.
quick, Kel. Sorry, real quick, because this is live. I love it. It's how much I love you guys. Right now, I just sent out, as I'm typing, Tennessee +3.5 and -115, only 3%. If I do work and end up liking it more, I may upgrade. But right now, it just came through the two groups that I work with the most in NFL. I swear to God, right now, if you look at your screen, it's probably lighting up in a couple places at exactly 1:05 p.m. Pacific time. It's probably lighting up in a couple spots. It happened within the
It's
5 minutes
absolutely
around
turning
that
red.
around 1 p.m. Yeah, we just bet it. Tennessee +3.5. Take it as you will. Follow, fade, ignore. But it's worth at least a 3%, regular play for me.
Absolutely hilarious. This is why we do it. We want to give you guys real-time information. Let's go over to the teasers. All three of us on the same page. It's Baltimore. It's Buffalo. And those are the two long teasers of the week. I also think that the Packers might be worth a play in a teaser on Christmas. Scene play of the week. Atlanta got bet up from 4.5 all the way to 6. VR said it is good at 6.5 even, but at 7, you're a little late to the party. The Deli got condemned last week because of Cam Newton and the Panthers. So Marco's going with the trap game. He says Jacksonville +1 is the play. And that is also VR's barking dog. So we're going to get involved with the ugly, ugly team in Jacksonville off that Texans loss. Marco's barking dog, the Chicago Bears +6.5. I would have liked to have gotten a 7, but Seattle cashed it in for the year. Both teams probably have. This is too many points. As far as best bets go, we all know I'm on the Buffalo Bills +2.5 against Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Marco says take the +3 with the hometown team, Minnesota. Just pick the winner here. He likes the Vikings. And VR said Baltimore, Cincinnati over 45. That's right. So it's going to be 28-27. That equals 55. That is a no sweat over. Every single week, we ask you guys to smash that like button, give us some love in the comments. And last Monday, you guys gave us a ton. We appreciate you. Thank you guys for hanging out with us each and every single week. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas this weekend and cashes lots of tickets from Marco, VR, Ralph, and myself. Good luck this week. Until then, let's bet on it.